Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Orcs Must Die. I am the Alchemical Rabbit, and welcome to our new single-player series for the channel. Now, we will be playing Orcs Must Die from the very beginning, and it will absolutely not be a second recording where the first recording kind of screwed up some of the audio, and so we're redoing it. It's absolutely nothing like that, so don't you worry. I've picked this game because I wanted to play Orcs Must Die 2 with a Tolly. If you dig back through the channel archives to the early days, you'll see we tried to play Orcs Must Die 2 a long time ago. We had a lot of sound issues. Oh my god, so many sound issues. We had crashing issues, yada. But I'd like to get back to it, but it only felt right to go ahead and play the original. So as you can see, absolutely new game. Listen. So sue me, we had some audio issues, like I said, but it's fine, because if you are unfamiliar with this game, you are in for a treat, especially if you're a fan of fantasy. I think people who are fans of, like, Dungeon Keeper and Dungeons and things like that would like this game.
I've spent 300 years fighting for the Order. I've killed thousands of orcs and defended dozens of rifts. And this is how it ends. One slip and a kobold's blood, and my skull cracks open on the gatehouse steps. So now the task of defending this fortress falls to my apprentice. That's it then. The world is doomed.
That is an appropriate reaction, and that's an appropriate avatar for us.
It's all up to me now. Rest well, crazy old man. First things first. Let's see what he left me in this spellbook.
Alright, welcome to Orcs Must Die. Orcs Must Die is, at its core, a tower defense game. We are attempting to defend this, back here, this glowing mass of energy, the Rift, versus the rampaging horde of orc and green skins that will attack through this door. Relatively straightforward first level, one hallway. We have our friends, Jimmy. I'm sorry, actually, you're Jimmy, you're Jay. Yes, these two brothers will be helping us out, the Archer Guardians. Now, opening the spellbook, we have a few things unlocked already that may or may not have to do with the totally not a second recording thing we discussed earlier. But for this mission, we will be going with the most basic of traps, poisoned spikes that just jet out of the floor, sticky tar to slow enemies down, and since we have a few extra slots in here, we're going to go ahead and pick ourselves up a floor scorcher. We're going to get some arrow walls, we'll get some more Jimmy and Jays, and there's really not even a whole lot else we need, so we'll take the blade staff. Blade staff is a extra weapon that we can have available to us. Basically just a nice little melee weapon, good little AoE arc in front of us, opposed to the crossbow, which is a one-shot weapon that as you shoot rapidly loses accuracy. And headshots are very important in this game, so you want to make sure we don't do that. Now, back to the actual core of the gameplay, which as we said is a tower defense game.
Looking good.
Which, you'll note, our focus here is actually not on building towers, but on building traps. Once we have our traps set up, we hit G, and here they come. Now, talking about the crossbow, we can see headshots worth a good chunk of money, and will kill orcs in one hit, which is quite useful to us. Once again, I have some upgraded gear at the moment, so don't you worry, starting in episode 2, things will return to the normal progression, and don't you worry, we will never discuss this episode again. Yes, that's fine. Alright, having slain all of them, I'm just going to drop another one of those traps. We're also going to see if we can slow down everything as they come into this choke point. Should do quite a bit of work for us. You can see in the upper right hand corner, you can see the enemy waves coming through. We unfortunately can't shoot through the white barrier in front of us, although we can get them immediately outside of it, which is good. Now, the reason why you don't just sit here and shoot everybody in the head, yeah, what's the point of using the traps, right? If you can just sort of chop your way through them. Well, the greater the number of orcs that die in traps are, the more money we get from a combo. You see combo times 3 there, another 20 money. We only got that because a bunch of orcs died in the traps together. Do a quick knockback, killed most of them. Yeah, each trap, of course, has a cooldown period, which is something to keep in mind, because what can end up happening is if you get a single orc running through all your traps in the very beginning, then, well, then your traps are no good because they have to cool back down. So what you want to use is you want to use delay tactics, you want to use the secondary fire on your crossbow, you want to use these tar traps to make sure they get bunched up. Because one trap triggering hits everything in an area, meaning, of course, more orcs is always better. Except when you're talking about them being alive, and then less orcs is always better. Come on, boys. Taking you off easy this time. Alright, a bit of fire, dealt with them quite nicely, and there's a big enough gap between the first wave and the second wave that all our traps should have plenty of time to reset. See, the fire's already ready to go. Here we go. Boom. Just poked like 5 of them right there. Also, we have Jimmy and Jay behind us, adding just a wee bit more firepower to the occasion. You know, let's even mock them with another Jimmy back here. Now, if they get to Jimmy, they will kill him, so normally putting a guy right here would be stupid, but it's the first mission. I'm not too worried. And if you play this game from the very, very beginning, you won't have Jay. You won't have the Jay to deploy yourself for 3 or 4 missions, but don't worry, you'll get them soon enough. There we go. Now, the most important thing at the end of each level is to see the splits. Splits signify that we got 5 skulls or 5 stars on that match. You also get an eyebrow wiggle, which makes it all worth it. Now, these skulls actually aren't worth anything to us because we already had some. Well, I guess maybe we might get them again. I'm not sure. But we're going to go ahead and make the Jimmy and Jays a little bit cheaper in the future since we have all those skulls. That's going to be very confusing to you when you watch episodes 2 and 3 and I unlock these things. I just realized, you know what, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Alright, so this is the first mission where the arrow wall is introduced.
Aha! With the old man dead and my apprenticeship finally over, I can draw on the full power of the rift. I'll get a new toy to play with every time I defend a rift.
Alright, so the point of this mission is pretty simple. It's just to show us that multiple gates can open on every single level, and sometimes they will be in a similar position like this, other times we won't ever be so lucky. So we're just going to start painting this hallway as our first kill zone.
This just doesn't seem fair.
Yep. Oh, also, back here, we have Bernard. Bernard, the Paladin Guardian. He is friends with Jimmy and Jay, but they don't hang out very much, unfortunately. It's sort of one of those college things where they just fell out of touch with one another. Alright. So, we have started making the Hallway of Wonders. But the Hallway of Wonders by itself won't be enough to kill all of them. So kind of what you want to do is you want to get your cursor about where, you know, their heads are. And then you try not to move up and down too much. It's all about the strafe. You also got to make sure that your cursor comes back together. Go ahead and let that trap do a little bit of damage. They're done. Let's see, once again, let's try and slow this down until the traps have reset. They have. Oh, that was bad timing on my part. Let's let the last one do it. 2, and Bernard! Thank you. Bernard doing his job. Good man. Good man, that Bernard. Alright, so this tar is just to once again bunch them up so that they run into the traps a little more neatly. We can see on the minimap, it's the left gate. This time, it's the right gate. Come on, boys. Yes, also the orcs do like to add in their own commentary. Alright, that only killed 2. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Alright, now they should come in a group. Come on, boys. I want to see 1. We got 3 that time. See, that was a little bit better. That was a little bit better. Alright, come on. Do some darn work, you darn traps. And perfect. Okay. Got a little bit of money now. Continue to pad out the front. We are going to then start the checkerboard pattern along the floor. So they'll be hitting tar, spike, tar, spike, tar, spike. Nothing we can really do on the ceilings in this level. You know what? Let's not even bother trying to thin them out at all. If we get enough money, we'll put some Jimmy and J's in the back, but I'm not sure that's necessary yet. Alright, there's a big stun. Just try and slow them down a little bit. Come on. Waiting for a frickin' trap to reset. That'll do. Alright, now we just start shotgunning. Thankfully, Bernard is very much on top of it. Bernard, you did an excellent job. Okay, we should have gone for more floor traps. I can see the error in my ways with that. Bunch them up, bunch them up. Let Bernard do some work. We're out of mana. That's okay. Bernard is the man. You are the man, Bernard. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Alright. Just get that stuff down. Alright, that should be enough. We're going to put a Jimmy and Jay in the back just to do some covering fire. But this checker pattern will slow them down and do a good amount of damage. Go away. Just, I am not your mistress. We'll get to why the orcs say yes, mistress, later. If you haven't played the games before. Alright, block them in the front. See, that's the nice thing about these kind of choke points, is if you can use that secondary fire to really slow them down, then nothing behind them can move, which gives your archers a lot more time to do some work. Just gonna drop that, cook a large number of them. Alright. Bernard's ready and willing to do some work, should he be needed. Oh, and that was the final wave. And as always, get the splits. It's ideal. The eyebrow, there's the eyebrow. Yes. Just want to check upgrades. Okay, yeah, we did not get more skulls. Once again, ignore the upgrades. Things are a little out of order, I apologize. Next mission is when we unlock the boom barrel. Okay, just making sure.
Another day, another fortress, another rift to defend. They always seem to break through the doors. We should do something about that.
We really should, War Mage. Anyway, so this mission, we're back to only having a single door, but we actually have a curve in, or a turn in the road, as well as this position all the way up here and down there. So what is the point of this position? This position is, there's a few reasons. Firstly, we can put Jimmy and Jay's up on the bridge or here to fire down at them. Secondarily, you'll see that there's these boiling acid tanks and these chandeliers hanging around. If we shoot those, they will drop down and do damage. The acid will pour where you can see the acid down there dripping, and the chandeliers will just drop straight down. So the game is just trying to teach us about that. Now, once again, we're going to go ahead and get the old standards. We will also go ahead and get ourselves some more Jimmy and J's. They may be a bit more useful in this. We'll take the burner as always, and the boom barrel is good because it's cheap, and it's like really nice big AoE once, but you lose it after that. You never get it back. So I think we're just going to stick with a shock zapper, which is something I can put on the ceiling down here. Now, with that all said and done, let us go ahead and begin setting up our kill field. So we'll do that, and then, as before, load in the checker pattern. Just like that. Not quite enough for the full checkerboard, but we'll get there soon enough. Once we get to, like, wave 2 or 3, we'll also start dropping the Jimmies and the Jays. And don't worry, there will be different orcs that must die in the future. I think, actually, if not in this mission, it's in the next one. So don't you worry about it being like, man, all it is killing these same group of guys over and over again. We get other guys. We get fast guys. We get huge guys. We get weird magical dudes. We get screaming weird assassins. It will happen, folks. I'm going to use some of the acid and the chandelier just to drop on that guy's head. Alright. A little more hectic than we needed. But what we're going to do is, if I can figure out where I'm going, I'm going to drop our first archers as well. So, yes, here are our first new enemies, the crossbow orc. Actually, probably one of the deadliest enemies in the game, because you just won't really be waiting for them. Like, suddenly you'll just get a whole bunch of sniper rounds in your butt, and you wouldn't even realize they were there. The other reason they're painful, for me at least, is they are the most capable enemies when it comes to killing the Jimmy and the Jays. Because they can actually shoot from afar. You can see they're actually shooting at Jimmy right now. Thankfully, they don't have, like, any health, so they're pretty easy to one-shot. All things considered. Alright, so that finishes down here. We could probably get another J up there next, plus start putting in some ceiling traps. Yes. We could also put a barricade to force them under the acid. Yeah, barricades, technically, you don't unlock until mission 5. So the fact I even have those is a little spoilery, but you know what, we haven't used them, so it's okay. Come on, boys. We're just gonna drop that and that real quick. Just to cut down on the number of orcs. Okay, gentlemen. Gentlemen, I did not actually expect you to get this far. If you could please return to your designated positions, it would be appreciated. Just like that. Alright, is the zapper worth it? Or do we just wanna... You know, I think we're just gonna go archer heavy on this, and screw using the elevation. Instead, we're just gonna make a kill field. Simple and clean. Drop that there, unleash the horde. There's only one way they can come at us, so we're just gonna fall into line with Jimmy J, Jay, and Jimmy. Okay, got him. Yeah, you can see they are already opening fire with our crossbows, or our bows, which is no good. No good at all. But when it comes to the normal greenskins, you put it's just a... It's like a World War I no man's land out there. And we can even drop another one of those. Just let the traps do their thing, folks. Just let them do their thing. We will assist with the occasional crossbow, though. That's just not acceptable. Alright. There we go. I think this is now completely under control. We'll just keep putting shots down range. We see another group of crossbows have come through. Just got... Oh, no, we just lost an archer. That's what I was saying. You gotta defend them. You gotta defend them, or else you end up with a corpse on the ground like that, and just no one wants that, man. No one wants that. No one wanted Jimmy to die. know what Jay's gonna think? Oh man, Jay's never gonna forgive me now. It's fine, we got him a clone, but whatever. You know what, let's just get in there and really screw up their crossbows. Okay, you know what? Didn't quite get all of them, but I got a good chunk. Thankfully, you are immune to your own traps. Because that would suck if you weren't. Alright, keep throwing bodies. It may eventually work. You never know. It could. Just line the walls, boys. Just line the gauntlet. Alright, we got another group of these guys. Now we could try putting traps right up on the entrance. Just to get out some of the, it just thin them out a little bit. It wouldn't do any sort of life-saving effort, but, you know, something to consider for future missions.
Ooh, brutal.
Come on. It's probably the last group of them. Let's actually get some ceiling in there. Just let it zap everybody who comes on through. Alright, come on, drop them. Looks like the end of them, folks. We got the little bit of a dance. We got the splits. That's the 5 skull, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, even though it's a re-recording, I hope you have enjoyed Episode 1 of Orcs Must Die. Let us know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Leave a like if you enjoy the series. Leave a dislike if you don't. And do subscribe if you are new. Until next time, I have been the Alchemical Rabbit, and I will see you later.